everybody, this is Kerrie Scroggins, KDS Insurance Services. Happy New Year. Coming to you today to talk to you a little bit about what we can expect, what's going on, and wish you a very happy New Year. I pray that 2024 for all of us is just a remarkably calm, quiet, productive, but exciting year, and everyone stays safe. As we all know, this last 18 months has probably been the hardest 18 months economically, really 2 years, I think, if you really look back, but 18 months is where I really see a drastic change in the insurance market here in Texas, and I really don't know that I'm going to have good news for you tonight, but I felt that I needed to pop in at this New Year's weekend and just say Happy New Year. First of all, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and give you some insight into what I see coming down the road here in Texas. You know, most of you throughout the year have had drastic rate increases. The average has been 63% rate increases for my agency. I think there's maybe been 5 people that have had either no rate change or a $1 or $2 or $3 reduction, only because their car has gotten older. Most of us have seen drastic increases on our home insurance and our auto insurance. So there's something I wanted to share with you that most consumers do not know, because you're not part of the industry as like I am. I'm going into my 43rd year, and I've seen so many changes, really good changes, really bad changes, but the last 18 months, in my opinion, has been devastating for all of us from a financial perspective. Not only that, but dealing with the insurance companies and what I'm seeing them start to do. So when I started in this business, Texas was in the bottom 5 states for the most competitive, cheapest premiums. 5. We were in the bottom 5. That was in 1981. And we had competitive rates. You could get your home insured for ridiculously cheap, $500-$600. Fully loaded policies with a $500 deductible, sometimes even lower than that. Those days are gone, and they are never coming back, unfortunately. Now, we are the 3rd most expensive state in the union for auto and home insurance, behind New York and Florida. And in both of those states, they've had catastrophe-type situations like we've had here in Texas in the last 5 years. So you combine that with this horrible economy, the worst economy that we've experienced in my lifetime. Most people are saying since the Depression. We are in for a recession. Many people think we are already in that recession. And we are now the 3rd most expensive state, with most people seeing over 63% rate increases on both auto and home. That's a big number to have to come up with. And what it's doing is it's affecting people's ability to just pay the other maintenance bills they have, gasoline, your electricity, your food, just your day-to-day operational expenses. And unfortunately, what I do see happening in the next year, if our election does not get our economy back on track, and I'm not endorsing any side here, I'm just saying we as Americans have got to come to the middle, and we have got to figure out what our problems are so we can work together to get this economy back going the way that we need it to go. Because if it continues down this path, we are all going to be in serious worlds of hurt. I really believe that. So our election is in November. That only gives a new administration 7 weeks to make drastic changes to our economy. So logically, you have to assume we're not going to see any changes until 25 at the earliest. So what do I see coming for next year? Unfortunately, I see the same thing. I think we may not see as huge of numbers, 60% or more. I think we may see a smaller increase, but I do believe we're going to continue to see increase after increase, and I think they're going to be 30 to 40% in addition to what we've had in the last 18 months. So that's a 100% rate increase in 2 years, which is truly astronomical. And this is what happened in New York and Florida. And so the state has to then step in and take control of the situation, because people will get to the point where they have to either pay their insurance premiums or eat. And none of us want it to get that drastic, but we are headed there very quickly. So the state will step in and they'll create what's called a pool. We already have it in Texas here for auto insurance. So if you can't get auto insurance on your own, you can go to the state, and then the state has a rotisserie, if you will, of assigning risk to all of the carriers here in the state. So if you go to them and you say you need insurance, whoever is next up on that rotation is going to get your business. And I hate to say this, but it is terribly expensive. But it's a law. You have to have liability insurance. So if you can't get it privately, if you can't buy it privately, then you have no choice but to go to the state for that. So I see that happening in the next year or two, unfortunately. I wish I was wrong, but I just really don't think I am. I think we are headed very quickly in that direction. And it's going to make the premiums here in Texas even more expensive, because the state's going to have to figure out a way to fund it. And if you've ever experienced wind and hail insurance from the state of Texas, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is just ridiculously expensive. So I see the state stepping in, and then the insurance companies are going to have to fall in line with what the state mandates. What has happened this year is we've had major insurance companies leave the Texas marketplace. Germania is the oldest insurance company in the state of Texas, and they right now are not accepting any new business. Not even if you're a current customer. So if you're a current customer and you sell your home and move into a new one, you still can't get insurance with them. No new business. It has closed down indefinitely. And we are losing just about a carrier a week to new business here in the state of Texas. Travelers, Nationwide, Germania, Safeco, Liberty Mutual. I can just name one after another. They just don't want the risk. What they are doing also, and you need to be very aware of this, they want off the risk because their actuarials are not functioning at the levels that they need them to be, meaning they're not making enough money. And I'm sure you think, what? They're not making enough money. Well, their actuarials have definitely changed. And so what we're seeing is a direct result of that. When that happens, their ratings drop, which means they have different requirements with the state, which means they want to get those numbers back in line to keep their high rating. And a high rating is anything over an A minus. So when that happens, this is why the state steps in. And it's going to be a very long transition, I believe. I really hope that I am wrong and that we don't get to that state. What I would love to be able to look into my crystal ball and see is that we have a significant shift towards our economy and how we approach it. And then in 2025, we make some radical changes that change the cost of insurance, change the ability of the insurance companies to change their actuarials, which means less premiums for you. That's what I hope. I just am very, very concerned that we are not going to see that for at least a year, maybe even 18 months. or 2 years, because the election is not until November first Tuesday in November, as we all know. So how do we combat this? Well, we talk about coverages, we talk about taking higher deductibles, we take about all the things that we can add or subtract from a policy to help offset these drastic increases. We try to find more options for you. What is happening, however, is when all of these carriers are leaving the marketplace, it becomes very difficult for me to find enough options when I go to shop your rates to find a lower premium. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller because the number of carriers who are willing to write property and auto here in Texas are getting smaller and smaller and smaller on a weekly basis. And that's really scary when you're an insurance agent, an independent agent. This is why I have as many carriers as I do, to give you the choice that you need. You know, it's supply and demand. The less amount of carriers means there's a greater demand, which means the price is going to go up. When we're flooded with carriers, the price goes down because they've got to become more competitive. And it truly is economics 101. That is what we are struggling with. So I just really wanted to also talk to you about being very diligent about checking your mail and your email for correspondence from these carriers. Because let me tell you, they are trying to do everything they can to get off your risk. They're making the premiums so high so you get off the risk by yourself. But if you continue with them, I am starting to see carriers that would normally give you a grace period, the grace period's gone. If you cancel for non-pay, they don't want you back. One time and done. There's no, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's either you pay your premium. If you don't pay your premium, you're done, and I cannot get you back to that carrier, because it's giving them the option to get off your risk. A lot of carriers are also tightening up their underwriting restrictions, so they are doing more inspections, outside inspections. They don't want to see trees near your home. They don't want to see anything touching your home. They don't want trash around your home. They want a 10 to 15 foot space between anything and your home. And if it's not, these carriers are starting to use that as a way to get off your risk. So it's very, very important, if you use an email or you use old-fashioned through the mail and you're getting any correspondence from your insurance company, please read it. And then if you have any questions on what they want, please call me, because we want to make sure that we are answering and providing any of the information that they are asking for, so we don't lose that rate, right? It may not be a great rate, but it might be the best rate that we can find, so we don't want to lose that rate because we have failed to comply with a request from the carrier, because they are doing it. I've seen this happen 5 or 6 times this year. So it's so important. Check your mail, check your emails, make sure you are responding to any correspondence from your insurance company. And we just have to be diligent. We all are sick of hearing that. I'm sick of hearing it. I'm a consumer too. I'm sick of it. It has been the hardest 18 months of my professional career. And I'm a pretty strong person, but this has been the most challenging, stressful, anxiety-filled 18 months in my professional career, because I feel like our power as agents is being taken away from us, and we are losing options. And when we lose options, that's when we lose clients. So here's the thing. If you have an upcoming renewal in January, please look at your renewals, find out what the numbers are. If you want me to shop it, I have to hear from you. I cannot just automatically assume that you want me to shop your rate. I have to have your permission to do that, because One of the things that most people do not understand is you have a credit score. And not a credit score, I'm sorry. You do have that, but you have an insurance score. And when you make late payments, or you have underwriting problems, or you have claims, or you shop your rate too often, that number goes down, and it can affect you just like your credit score going down. So it's really important to think about that. What is it that's going to make you shift? Okay, when everybody else is getting 60% or higher, we all have to be reasonable in that we are probably not going to find it somewhere else. I don't want to say never, because I check every single carrier. It is a time-consuming process. So please give me at least 10 days to shop your insurance. Just send me an email or leave me a voicemail and say, Kerrie, I would like you to shop, whether it's your home or your auto or both, because I have to have your permission to do that, because I am running your loss history and I am running all of your identification reports, and I cannot do that without your permission. So please remember that. I just can't assume to do it. I need to hear from you directly in order to be able to shop your rates. And just know I am committed to finding you the best rate that I possibly can. We can talk about changes in higher deductibles and ways to offset this drastic increase that we're seeing. But I really just want everybody to realize this is across the board in the entire state. In the entire state. There are some counties now where you might have one choice of a carrier that is willing to write. Two of those counties are Chambers County and Fort Bend County. So if you live in those areas, it's really, really important for you to do your due diligence. The ability to find anything else is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And I just really need you to be realistic about what's out there, because it's just nowhere like it used to be 2 years ago. And I'm really sorry that this is the kind of message I have to bring to you on a New Year's, but I want you to be informed. I want you to have an idea of what you're looking for, what you're going to be getting, and I want to give you the opportunity to know that we can certainly continue to always shop your rates. You're just going to have to give me the time to do it, because there is an ongoing list. I take everybody in the order that I receive them, and just remember that, if you would, that if you've got an upcoming renewal in the next week, it's going to be really hard for me to find enough time to get that done for you to see if we can find something. So if you have a renewal before the 7th of January, I need to hear from you on Tuesday morning, so I have enough time to potentially shop those rates. And I just really want you to have, my prayer for all of us is that we have a remarkable 2024, that we just all pull together in this nation, come to the middle, and let's work out our problems and communicate with each other and try to resolve some of these very difficult issues that we are all facing. And there's no changes to the agency. It's still just me. Phone numbers are the same. The hours are the same. The phone lines are open 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. If I don't answer, I'm either on the other line, or I've stepped away from my desk, or I'm in a meeting somewhere. Please leave me a message, and I promise I will get back to you just as quickly as possible. Please also remember, I cannot accept changes to your policy or cancellations of your policy without actually either speaking to you or receiving a written communication from you. That is a compliance requirement, and it is a no-go. If you leave me a voicemail, I cannot just go on a voicemail. I either have to talk to you or receive direct written communication from you in order to make any change to your policy. So, blessings to everybody. I hope that you have a wonderful New Year's weekend, long weekend, and that we all have a joyous, prosperous, exciting, love-filled 2024. And I'm here to help you in any way possible as we go into our 14th year as an agency. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate your business, your loyalty. It does not go unnoticed. And I just want you to know how appreciated you really are, because you are. This is Kerrie. Hope to see or hear from you soon. Happy New Year, and I will catch up with you in the new year. God bless, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.